Tiger of Kai. One of the most feared and recognized daimyo commanders of the Sengoku period, Takeda Shinjin had earned the nickname the Tiger of Kai. The Takeda had been a long prominent family in the Kai province, and were descendants of the emperor family, the Minamoto clan, which also made them related to the Ashikaga shogunate. During the earlier years, before the Ono War broke out, the Takeda had been feuding with the rival warrior Buddhist clan called the Usagi in the Echigo province. The Usagi daimyo at the time, Usagi Zenshu, had been a kenrei under the Ashikaga shogun Machuaji. Zensho did not particularly like the way the shogunate was favoring other warlords with tax exemptions and castle grants. This led to the Usagi Echigo province rebelling in 1415. The Ashikaga shogun at the time would then send Takeda, Oda, and other noble groups to suppress the Usagi rebellion that was happening in the Echigo province. Blood began to spill ever since, as both clans would come to respect each other's renowned battle strategy, but would try viciously to devour one another's clans given the right opportunity. This conflict would become a huge part of Takeda Shinjin's military career, as well for his adversary, the Dragon of Echigo, Usagi Kenshin. Takeda Shinjin was born in 1521 CE, and was born under the name Harunabu by his father Takeda Nobutara, who had been fighting the Usagi most of his life and had come to gain territory throughout the Kai province. The Takeda had built a reputation having the best cavalry in Japan, according to the Bakufu government, but a young Harunabu was ready to elevate the Takeda's cavalry fame. At the age of 15, during the castle battle of Unukuchi against the Haraga clan, Daibu Nobutara retreated from his attacking position, while Harunabu continued his charge and managed to successfully overtake the castle. This was the first instance of commanding brilliance by Harunabu, which led to jealousy and envy beginning to brew in the mind of his father. As Harunabu went through his coming-of-age ceremony, he changed his name to Shinjin. Shinjin then begins to hear rumors that his father will be choosing his younger brother, Nobushiji, as his successor, to become the new head of the clan. Shinjin then rebelled, captured, and exiled his father to Suruga province to be kept under the watchful eye of the Imagawa. Shinjin spares his younger brother and continues to allow him to fight alongside of Shinjin. The year is 1541, and after hearing that the Takeda had experienced a coup by an unwanted successor, the powerful clans of the Shinano province began marching their armies into Kai, attempting to further accelerate the Takeda's chaos. The Shinano clans heard that Shinjin's major standing army was at Fuchu Castle, and after marching their armies just outside the territory of the castle, Shinjin implemented a surprise cavalry charge that devastated the invading coalition. Shinjin advanced in the Shinano province and swept the defending garrisons. Within 9 years, the Takeda controlled one of the largest provinces in Japan, making the young 27-year-old daimyo an acclaimed warlord. Over the next year, Shinjin would set his sights on his clan's rival enemy, the Usagi, and battle with the famous Usagi Kenshin's forces. Shinjin and Kenshin's 11-year rivalry would become a Japanese war legend tale. The two would meet on the battlefield of Konokojima 5 times, and the 4th battle would become an absolute classic in Japanese war history. After several small band skirmishes in previous battles, the 4th battle of Konokojima, both the Usagi and Takeda brought hell with them. Usagi Kenshin had 18,000 troops under his command and had been besieging a Hajo castle in the south of Shinano province. Kenshin had heard a rumor by a runner that Shinjin would be moving his army from Kaizu to another castle in the next couple of days. This led to Kenshin to lift his siege on the Hajo and move to a vantage point in the mountains west of Kaizu. What Usagi Kenshin didn't know was that Takeda Shinjin was actually at another castle town named Kafu, and Kaizu was only garrisoned by 150 men. The Usagi waited for an opportune time to attack, but the Usagi received another message from a runner scout that Shinjin was indeed in Kafu and entering Shinano from the southwest. The Usagi immediately began marching to meet their longtime foes. Both sides again met at Kawakajima at a ravine area of Shinano. This battle setting made movement difficult for both sides' cavalry and infantry. Both sides waited patiently for their opponent to engage, hoping one another would make a rash error first. Shinjin managed to maneuver around the ravine, while taking arrow fire as well. His plan was to be able to enter Kizu Castle and implement a defense strategy. Shinjin had another Takeda war party of 8,000 troops around the other side of the ravine, and so he split his standing army, leaving half to defend the castle and taking the other 8,000 to stealthily meet up with the reinforcements. The Usagi scouts caught the Takeda's movement and began using their own stealth tactics to maneuver around the Takeda. Soon the Usagi charged into the Takeda front lines, causing a hectic focus point in the battle. Usagi Kenshin managed to stealthily go around the other sides of the frontline ranks and into the command post where the Takeda daimyo and generals were. Kenshin immediately charged at Shinjin on horseback and began slashing at the Takeda daimyo. Shinjin famously had only been equipped with the signaling war fan and successfully defended himself from the Dragon of Echigo. It wasn't until Shinjin's loyal retainer, Hara Osumi no Kami, stabbed Kenshin's horse with a spear, which made Kenshin retreat along with the rest of his cavalry unit. Meanwhile, on the front lines of the battle, the 8,000 men reinforcements met up with Shinjin and began flanking the Usagi's forces. This perfect timing surprise tactic caused a huge amount of casualties for the Usagi, as they would come to lose 70% of their force, while the Takeda would only take 30% in casualties. The Usagi wisely fled the slaughter, but were followed by a Takeda war party commanded by Shinjin's younger brother Nobusuji, and one of his best generals, Marizumu Masakayo. This war party was ambushed in the woods, and both Takeda commanders perished in battle. Both sides retreated and lived to fight another day. 2 more battles would continue to shed more blood between these clans, but Takeda Shinjin, after 11 years of war in Shinano, began planning for an invasion of the Oda and Matsudera lands in 1572, after hearing the latest Ashikaga coup. This would alert Nobunaga to leave Kyoto to meet and face his in-law, who decided to break the marriage pact between the Takeda and Oda. In war, though, anything goes.